Good afternoon. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush. Welcome to my watercolor world. I am what I call a watercolor adventurous. I don't have all the answers, but I started this channel because I thought, there's probably a lot of people that don't have all the answers and they might want to just join me as I explore. So that's why I'm here. And today I am playing with some masking fluid, and I have been like a love-hate relationship. I just couldn't get it. That's all I can say. If you have tried masking, if you're good at it, I'm so proud of you because I just don't always get it. Oh, by the way, I always forget to say, like and subscribe if you wish. I'm not monetized. I'm just here for fun. But I'd love to have you join me. Follow Your Brush. I also have a page on Facebook called Follow Your Brush, and you may join me over there as well. We have an awesome group of people that love to share and what they're doing. Okay, back to my masking. I have been taking classes and lessons from Buffy Kaufman at Watercolor Pour, and she's on YouTube. You can watch. She has a lot of free lessons as well, and she has been making me braver with masking fluid. I have already done this portion of it, and it's dry. But one thing that she has taught me and encouraged me to do is not be afraid of the masking fluid, just be free with it. So here's a couple of the tools I used. I am using the Winsor Newton watercolor colorless masking fluid, so you don't really see it till your colors go on. Some of the tools that I am using, I bought these little brushes online. They are for masking and they can be disposable. But if you put soap on them first and then dip it in water, the masking fluid will come right off, so it comes out soft. What I do in my little studio here, when you go to a hotel and you get these little Johnson's shampoo bottles, well, who doesn't bring them back home, right? But what I do for my masking brushes or little tools, I just go ahead and dip it in here, wipe it off on the sides, and then I just very lightly put it in my cup of water, and then I'm good to mask. And then when I rinse it, use separate water, obviously, than you are gonna when you paint. Then the masking comes right off. Another tool that Buffy uses that I had never really used, and that's a pipette. This is the one I just used for some masking, just kind of put some lines on and also just to splatter it a little bit. And then I also use a toothpick. I use a toothpick for little places. Still trying to stay in control, that's just in my brain. And then I purchased these little, a bunch of these little triangle trays. They're little plastic trays. I got them on Amazon, and they're sold for people that like to work with doing beads and necklaces and things of that sort. But they are great little mixers for your colors. So I have been doing that as well. Then the other thing I am mixing my colors in is a porcelain palette. I like porcelain mixing. So I have some combinations of colors here. And the little palette that I'm using today, these are all Daniel Smith colors. And this is a palette that was put together by Buffy for her membership stream. Some of her favorite mixes. And so those are the colors that I was using today. Okay, so I started off doing just some loose masking. Loose as far as you know, is colorless, and I was just putting it on there. But one thing that Buffy encouraged me to do that I hadn't really thought of before, if you see that there's something that you really don't like, before you get majorly into your painting, you can kind of go ahead and take that part of the masking off. For instance, I'm not really crazy about all the thickness right in here. So I'm going to take that part off. Then I can, when I come back in to paint, I can paint that when I'm coming in. And I'm not crazy about this blob here. So we can come in that, go over that with another color. And other than that, for the moment, I don't mind this. This can be bigger stems. This came out a little bit thicker than I wanted, so I'm going to take this one off too. Okay, took off more than I expected, but that's okay because I can just come in here with some other colors. Be sure you remove your little things over to the side. So I have some color, basic color, first wash on here, and then I still have some masking. But I am going to come back in and use some of these colors. This is a combination of Hansa Yellow Light. This is Hansa Yellow Light. This is a, what did I put in here? Phthalo Blue, red shade. And I meant to do the Phthalo Turquoise. So I do have some Phthalo Turquoise, and I'm going to actually mix some Phthalo Turquoise with these colors. Also had a little bit of magenta in there because we did, in our lesson today, she did some magenta. So I have some magenta here, and I'm just going to move it over into this palette. And then it's going to be mixed with some of that Phthalo Blue, and that'll give us a pretty, pretty color. Watch this. Here's the Phthalo Blue, or I mean Phthalo Turquoise. Part of my problem is I'm saying the wrong thing. Put that there. Put some more here. And then we can switch it up as I go. Go back to my magenta. Put some more of that in there so I can kind of play with that. This was my Phthalo Blue red shade. Go ahead and put some more in that. That's really intense, isn't it? And then let me put some of the Phthalo Turquoise down in here. One of my favorite colors, actually. And we're going to be wanting some greens. Is what we're going to be looking for. So I have some Hansa Yellow. I've already done some mixing in there, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that and put some of the Phthalo Turquoise here. And then I can add some of my yellows to that. And I think in this while, I'm just going to put some bunch of Phthalo Turquoise. Just load that up. If you're wondering what brush I'm using at the moment, this is my medium Wangi handle synthetic goat hair and synthetic goat hair and synthetic brush from Tracy Levinson, and I love his brushes, and you can check them out at levinson.paintbrushes.com. If you use the coupon code PAM, you may find that you get a discount. Anyway, so these are some colors I have mixed up. And then some of them I had just, this was a Phthalo Turquoise, and I was just pouring it into some of these other colors. So let's play, shall we? This just, you know, I'm kind of new to this watercolor pouring. Watching Buffy do it. And I'm definitely not as adept. So, you know, don't expect miracles. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some colors to this. I want to come in and just put some water over top of where I've already been. But these are some places that I'm going to want to add some color. And again, I'm using my Levinson brush. Holds lots and lots of water, but it also, you'll find it has a great tip if you're wanting to do some detail. This time I'm going over that spot where I just removed that masking fluid. So, and that's fine. We're talking about kind of spontaneous masking. Then for the color that I want to use, let me look at these. Move this out of the way for the moment. Let myself spread out a little bit, and hopefully you can see as well. Okay, kind of got this at an angle. I want to try to come in here with some of this magenta. Now this was the Phthalo Blue. Here's the magenta. Add some of the magenta and the Phthalo Turquoise. But I want to be careful where I'm putting it, so I'm just going to kind of drop in here and let things go. I like soft edges. I like the blue that I'm getting there. Gets back into some more of this magenta. I was kind of thinking diagonal when I was creating this, diagonal lines. So I'm kind of gonna keep that up here and go with the diagonal theme. This obviously is darker. The foreground is darker. Anyway, when you do a foreground, you're dark and your cooler colors go into the distance. I'm not going to be able to complete this whole thing. I just wanted to show you what I was playing with today. All right, so that's a start, and I am going to kind of move it around a little bit. I do like soft edges, and I like things to move. And it's kind of doing that on its own. And I'm already liking the contrast of that blue color there. I like that. Let's come back in and come into my Hansa Yellow Light and some of my Phthalo Turquoise. Let's come over in this area. Some of this is where I had removed the masking fluid already. Now, as these colors blend and play, which is what I want them to do, you know, the colors will change as they dry. And a little hair there. And that's fine. I want them to do that as well. I want them to play and have a good time. So there's some more. I'm just gonna let that sit a minute. I do like this Hansa Yellow Light. I'm gonna put some more down in here. Just kind of brighten up that green, but I do like that dark streak of that blue. Put a little bit more in there. Your greatest contrast is going to be between your lights and your darks. And so I like to do that, and I want this diagonal shape coming up here. So I'm gonna let that dry some more. Some of this is forming a little bit of a hard edge, so I'm gonna spritz and let some of that soften up, which I also like to do because I like soft edges. If the water's running, the pigment's gonna go there. Pigment's gonna follow it. So I like what's that doing. I like to watch it trail down on its own and make little marks like that. So I'm liking this so far. Let me add a little bit of spritz over here too. Okay, and I've got my blue streak coming down the side. I'm gonna let this sit just a minute. Hopefully you can hang with me while I do that. I have another brush here that I ordered from Fumi, F-U-U-M-I-I. It's a special collection brush that I got from an artist in Bulgaria. It's his own chosen set. Let some more of this run. Isn't that pretty? I don't know how much more color actually I'm going to add. I do want some little pops of color though. So this is sitting for just a second. I'm going to come back into my palette and I'm going to come back in with just a few little pops of color. I like the Quin Rose. This can suggest maybe some other flowers in the distance. Have some consistency. I'm still thinking diagonal here. I got those going. Let's let that Quin Rose kind of go to the side and up. See what that wants to do. Some come down a little bit. Gonna let that sit. And then I do still want some more light color down in this area. So I am gonna come back in here to my straight Hansa Yellow Light. I'm using my Daniel Smith watercolor sticks again to refill all these palettes because you know I enjoy that as well. I'm just going to splatter some of this down here while it's still wet. In here, get some more. Splatter, splatter. Again, I'm still kind of working on this diagonal. I think this is a pretty green on its own without me trying to mix a green. Just let it do what it wants to do. Let that kind of mist its way down through the page. Some here, I want to get it to go. Move it over, go up a little bit. And you know, just looking at this, I'm almost kind of feeling like this is really kind of all I want to do. I just do want some little bit of contrast in here where these things came up. And maybe drop some in here and then just let it go. Some stems or whatever. That's the area that I just kind of misted wet and just let that go up there. Some of that coming back down. Still need a little contrast down here in the corner. And I'm going to come in with that Quin Rose and splatter some in there as well. Okay, I think I'm gonna let this dry, and then I will be removing the masking. I don't like to dry on line because it's loud. I'm gonna let it sit a minute, and you might want to see how it comes out though. Let me go ahead and hold your ears for a second, or maybe I don't know if I can mute this or not, but hang on a second. Okay, it's still, well, it's mostly dry, mostly dry. You can see how the colors change when it dries. So I might, when I take off the masking, I actually might want to add some touches. But we're pretty dry here, so let me get my, this is a little rubber masking to, little rubber pad to remove the masking. I'm going to start down here. And then the truth will be told of how my masking did. Just kind of a, talk about free-range chickens. This was a free-range masking. Just kind of did it as I went. Kind of pull it off with my fingers. I don't want to smear any paint that might not be totally wet or dry. Some more. You can see some of the little streaks that I did with the toothpick to make some lines. So all that is showing up as I take this masking off. Is this dry? And I see a little bit of a hint of flowers that I was originally trying to go for in my masking. Not exactly what I wanted, but you know, if you're going to paint with watercolor, you can't really always expect to get what you want. You can guide it that way, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to go your way. It has a way of wanting to do what it wants to do, even without masking fluid. And dry a little differently with these lines up here. I'm going to end. I know this video might be a little longer than what I normally do, but I just wanted to go through the process with you and show you what I'm doing. Take off your little gummy spots. Still have some down here. I enjoy spontaneous painting, and I like soft edges. I like to, and then there are other times when I'm detailed, and I like to be detailed. But for the most part, I'm that kid in the class that doesn't want to follow directions. And when the teacher says, you know, stay in the lines, I'm like, nah, I don't want to stay in the lines. This actually kind of looks like a little bird, doesn't it? So I'm liking this, and if you're still hanging there with me and haven't given up yet, let's go back in and add a little bit of detail and see what we can do. Let me get all my little masking blobs off of here. And I'm gonna come in with my, let me get some fresh water. Gonna use the tip. I still got some. The tip of this brush is so awesome, so I'm going to show you that as well. And oh, still have some masking on there. You can feel it when you go over it. It's just kind of like a little rough. There you go. Get that off. I want to have a little bit of color in my flowers, as if these were daisies. My mother loved daisies. So let me come in here with some, use a little bit of Aussie Red Gold for the center. It looks more yellow than Aussie Red. Let me add a little bit more. Here too. You can see how the tip on this brush is just fabulous. Just put a little bit there, maybe a little bit here as well. This bird, I like this bird. I think I want to do the bird in, oh, let me wait on the bird. Let me get some green in here. This is Amazite Genuine. Come in here over some of this and just soften this a little bit. Add a little bit of green. So I'm liking that. The other thing that you can do that Buffy talked about this morning is you can actually just come in with some water and just soften those edges where you have already come in and painted, and it's come over where you had your masking, and just kind of soften that. This one looks like a dynamic possibility for a flower bursting right there with some color. And I do want to get some of this green in here, so let me come back with my Hansa Yellow and the Phthalo Turquoise. And just kind of plop some in here. Not a lot, just a little. And let's kind of make that feel a little bit more complete. And now this is what I have a tendency to overdo, and I don't want to do that, but I do want to give these guys a little bit of a hint of a stem. And with the Hansa Yellow and my blue, this guy especially needs some stems. Come in here and do some, darken that up a little bit. I don't want to totally do away with all my masking, but just want to enhance this a little. Yeah, and this takes time, which I normally don't do longer videos, but I'm gonna do them today. If you're hanging with me, I appreciate it. And back to this bird, I think what I want to do, this little mark right here that looks like a bird, I'm just going to come in with some of this blue, this phthalo blue, and I'm just going to make a blue bird here, coming in for coming into these plants. And I know it's running a little bit, and that's fine. It's going to dry. I think that's kind of a nice touch. We'll find out when it dries, huh? A little bit too much there, so let me... Yeah, there we go. I could just dab some of that up. So let's give the bluebird some pretty pink flowers to dip into to get some nectar. How about that? Add a little bit of pink over here too. So I had that pink spattered, but kind of disappeared when I dried. Okay, I think I'm done. And of course it'll dry again. And you know what? I do want to. I know I always do this. I want to splatter some more blue down here. Just like this. I like this darker blue coming down diagonally. And then I'm stopping. Famous last words, right? All right. That's going to be it. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll take the tape off and I'll take a picture and post it. Thanks for watching. Let me adjust my camera and show you what I've done. Kind of sideways there. But I think my masking didn't come out too badly. So that's my spontaneous masking and painting adventure for the day. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.